Hello video game fans, I'm getting recent reports that Nintendo actually did something good.
It's a new iteration of the Wii Sports series.
What the? There was a recent Nintendo Direct that announced new good games for the Switch, good existing games for the Switch, and updates on already announced and existing games for the Switch. Now if you're new to Nintendo, Nintendo Direct is basically a live stream about announcements for upcoming or already existing games on their latest systems. Basically news about new or existing games coming to the Switch. Now last Wednesday on February the 9th, Nintendo held a Direct that was just so amazing and had such great announcements that I just had to talk about it. Now I was really surprised because originally I thought it was just going to be very mediocre, but it turned out to be great. So let's get into everything they announced in the latest Nintendo Direct. It started off on a low note with the announcement of a new Warriors game, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Why? They already made a Fire Emblem Warriors game a couple years ago, why do it again? I was hoping they would announce a brand new Warriors game, but nope, just use Fire Emblem again. Yeah, and I'm guessing Fire Emblem fans weren't that excited to see it either, because it's not a new Fire Emblem game, it's a new Warriors game, taking place in the Fire Emblem universe. Now the story might attract some Fire Emblem fans, but even then, why not just make a new Fire Emblem game? But then again, I'm not really one to judge. After all, I'm not a Fire Emblem fan and I have no idea what I'm talking about, so let's move on. The next thing they showed us was some new stuff that's going to be in the upcoming game, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. The new announcements for it were quick, with voice acting being in the game, new boss fights, some gameplay elements, and additional modes with local and online multiplayer. The next announcement was a new Mario sports game, Mario Strikers Battle League. Now it's been a while since we've seen Mario Strikers. They made it for the GameCube, then made a sequel for the Wii, which was around 15 years ago. In the new Strikers game, you've got new special slots. There are items you can use against the opposing team, like Koopa shells and bananas. You can tackle people on the other team to get the ball back. There's local and online play with up to 8 players, and you can even do 8-player on one Switch system. Online clubs with up to 20 players where you can compete for placement in a ranking system, and you can customize your player to change both appearance and stats. Next up was an update on what's coming in the next Splatoon game, Splatoon 3 Salmon Run. It showed new boss salmonids coming to Salmon Run, and a new mechanic, egg throwing. You can throw an egg to one of your teammates when you're in trouble and you need to meet the quota, and you can throw it in the basket instead of going all the way up to the basket. I can actually see lots of cool uses with this mechanic. This actually got more excited for Splatoon 3 coming this summer, and I'm excited to see more on the game coming soon. Next, they announced a remake of Front Mission First. Now, I've never heard of this game or seen it before, but apparently it's a strategy RPG game with fighting machines called Wansers. What? This looked kind of cool to me, and I'm not really an RPG guy. They also announced they were remaking the second game as well, which is cool. Next up we have Speedstorm, which is a combat racing game. Combat? It's sort of like a kart racing game, and it's Disney. You know, for a pseudo kart racing game, the Disney universe is actually a really good pick for the roster of characters it has. And I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner, and this game looks pretty fun. It's also made by the same people who make the Asphalt games, that mobile racing game series, and I can see some of the similarities. But moving on, they then announced The Force Unleashed coming to the Switch as a re-release. It's in full HD now, which is cool, but the most interesting thing is the controls. Not only will it have the button controls from the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, but it will also have the option to use motion controls from the Wii version. Now, I've never played this game myself, but I've seen a lot of good gameplay from it, and heard great things about it, so it's cool they brought it to the Switch. Then we have Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection. It's pretty much the first 2 Assassin's Creed games with enhanced graphics for the Switch. This is where my memory starts to get a little hazy, because they then went back, edited, and rearranged the order of some of the things they showed. I will try to get to everything they announced, but it won't be in order. So let's get this one out of the way. SD Gundam Battle Alliance is an action RPG that looks like it's ripped from Transformers, if Transformers was made for 4-year-olds. Doesn't look that interesting, but the gameplay does look a little okay. Here's one that really got me excited. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a game that's already been out for a while. It's basically a game where you can explore different planets, build bases, explore the vastness of space, and all that stuff. Now this was exciting because No Man's Sky is a good game, and a Switch version would really be epic with the portability. But that's not the most surprising thing about it. The most surprising thing about it is the fact that it's not a cloud version of the game, meaning it would require internet. And if it's going to play anything like it does in the trailer, the developers for it need 50 gold medals in my opinion. Now let's go to Chrono Cross on the Switch. I don't know much about the Chrono Trigger series. I think this was a weaker entry, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like they're adding much to it. It's just Chrono Cross on the Switch with a text-based adventure coming with it of Chrono Cross's origins. Now to something I'm really excited for, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. This is a game that's already been announced and shown off a little, but the new stuff they showed just makes me super excited for it. Mouthful Mode. Mouthful Mode lets Kirby swallow big objects and take the form of them. You can turn into a car, a vending machine, a traffic cone, or even more. This is no doubt going to enhance the game with the possibilities of platforming using Mouthful Mode. They also showed off a weapon shop and whole little town that gets built as you progress through the game, which is a cool concept that's getting me more excited for the first 3D Kirby game. Next up, we have MLB The Show for the Switch.
It's just MLB The Show on the Switch.
Then we have the Kingdom Hearts collection. Now I've heard generally good things about the Kingdom Hearts series, but what's bad about this Kingdom Hearts collection is that it's the cloud versions of these games, meaning that it requires internet, so if you don't have good Wi-Fi, good luck trying to get to the main menu without your game having a stroke. I mean, it's already out and I've already heard bad things about the performance of the games, and no doubt I can understand why. Moving on to Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series. Again, I've never heard of this before, or know what console it originally came out on, but it's pretty much two 2D platforming games that look really good, and I kind of want to get them. But moving on again to Portal Companion Collection.
Holy crap!
I can't believe they're bringing the Portal games to the Switch. Amazing 3D platforming with a little bit of puzzle solving added in to make it a really fun, award-winning game. Next we have Live Alive, which was a game that was only released in Japan for I believe the Super Famicom and was never actually released in the West until now. With a really amazing HD 2D art style and the concept of playing different stories on different time periods really just makes this RPG look incredible. And it might be the one RPG from the Direct that I actually buy.
Then Nintendo did it. They did the impossible. They are giving fans what they want by releasing a new Wii Sports game for the Switch called Nintendo Switch Sports.
It's a new iteration of the Wii Sports series. Nintendo Switch Sports.
Nintendo Switch Sports will have 3 sports come from the original Wii Sports games, including tennis, bowling, and Shamura, and come with 3 new sports including soccer, badminton, and volleyball. I'm most excited for volleyball in Switch Sports just with all the different ranges of motion that they showed off you can do. The physical edition will come with a leg strap accessory for soccer that you can use after a summer update to really utilize this accessory, which is actually kind of weird. And in a fall update, they will add golf to the mix. Honestly, this looks really good and I'm really excited for it. The only thing I don't like is these new in-game avatars, so thank God I'll still be able to use one of the many Miis I've created. Next we have a rhythm game, Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival.
It's a rhythm game.
Now we have Triangle Strategy, a game that's already been announced and shown off. Well, now they're releasing the prologue for the game, which you can get on the eShop right now actually. I like the art style of this game, but at this point in the Direct, I think it's gotten a little oversaturated with RPGs. Oh look, it's Cuphead. What is he doing here? Next, they showed off the DLC that's coming to Cuphead. Basically, the DLC adds more boss fights and battles, and a new character you can play as with unique moves and abilities, which is pretty nice. Next, a free update coming to Metroid Dread. This free update adds an instant death mode called Dread Mode, and an easier than easy mode for rookies called, you guessed it, Rookie Mode. Then they announced a second new update coming to Metroid Dread that will add a boss rush mode. Next is Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings coming to Switch Online, which is good for Earthbound fans. Then they glazed through a couple more games coming to the Switch, and then they coconut mauled us. For the second to last showing, they announced DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that would come with 48 remastered courses from previous Mario Kart games and even some from the mobile game. Now the price for it was $25 for all the waves, and each wave will come with 8 courses with a total of 6 waves releasing up into the end of 2023, with the first wave releasing in March. Now I've actually seen some people get upset about this online, but it's pretty much a whole new Mario Kart game's worth of content for only $25, so people really need to stop getting upset over this. Also, the DLC is free with Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack membership. And for the final announcement, they showed a trailer for a new Xenoblade Chronicles game that looked really good and makes me want to get into the Xenoblade series. Now, I originally thought they would show more stuff for the upcoming Zelda game, but I can see why they didn't, and I'm fine with it. And that was the February 9th, 2022 Nintendo Direct, and it was really good and a lot more than I was expecting. So what's my final rating for the Direct? 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but it was still really amazing. Now the only thing I have to worry about is those things taking over the world.